All my favorite songs are slow and sad. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Welcome to the Sad Song Queens podcast, where we dive deep into the songs that make us cry. I'm Laura Webb.
And I'm Lindsay Wolfington.
Today, we are talking with Driftwood Choir about their song, The River.
Driftwood Choir is an indie folk duo formed by singer-songwriters Ed Prosek and Drew Southwell, aka Portair. Ed, born in California and based in Berlin, and Drew, hailing from Australia, each had independent music careers when a meeting over drinks in Berlin in 2023 inspired a creative partnership that resulted in their first self-titled album.
Ed's style is a balance between chamber orchestration, Americana storytelling, and pop. Drew is an indie folk artist who has composed original scores for multiple projects.
Driftwood Choir's music is all about experiencing authenticity in the real world. Their collaboration has created music for wanderlust, driven by their shared love of adventure and international backgrounds.
Their music has already resonated widely, having been featured in Grey's Anatomy, amongst others. We look forward to speaking with Ed and Drew today about their song, The River.
So grab those tissues and let's get into it, because we all need a good cry. And now, The River by Driftwood Choir.
I've been moving backwards, feels like I've been here before. I hear it calling to me, another door revolving, shipwrecked here upon the shore. Will I wake from this dream, and all this weight I carry, from all these versions of myself? Now it's time to come clean. So you jump in the river, 'cause you can't live without it. And the tide draws you deeper, and it chews you up and spits you out. So you jump in the river, and it's all unfamiliar. You give in to the water, and it chews you up and shows you how to flow. And this is how you learn it's time to let go. Where's this place I'm going? Who's the face that's looking back? I see it ripple and change. Are we ordinary? Are we missing something here? Oh, it's time to come clean. So you jump in the river, 'cause you can't live without it. And the tide draws you deeper, and it chews you up and spits you out. So you jump in the river, and it's all unfamiliar. You give in to the water, and it chews you up and spits you out. So you jump in the river, 'cause you can't live without it. And the tide draws you deeper, and it chews you up and spits you out. And this is how you learn it's time to let go.
Yay!
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 Welcome,
Yay.
Ed and Drew.
Hello, wonderful to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Glad you're here.
So we force people to listen to their own music. How do you feel about that?
I actually, for me personally, when I put out a song, I rarely ever listen to it again unless I have to perform it.
Right.
And so but it's nice actually hearing that back. I haven't listened to that in like many months, and I have a couple thoughts. It's good. It's a good song. We did good, Ed.
I have a couple of thoughts. He's going to take it. I have the same thing, except weirdly with this album, because it's us together, I listen to it all the time. I have to say, because it's
Aw.
like a little distanced from me. It means that I just keep coming back to it.
Drew, he likes the project more than you do. Sorry. I don't know what
That's
to say here.
actually, it's funny. Like I actually no, with this particular project, I do listen to it actually quite regularly, and every time I go back and revisit the album, I'm like, man, we did a good job. I like this more than my own music, so
Aw.
I feel the same.
What
Your
is
your voices blend so well together. It's just I've thought that, and then re-listening as we just did, I was like, oh, you guys, it's such a good blend. Yeah.
Thank you. It was really right from the beginning. I mean, sometimes when you sing with someone new, you have to change your voice. You have to do all kinds of little trickery to make the voices fit. But for some reason, with Drew and I, it just was instantaneous. And the songs came as well. But like just the blend of our voices, it was so clear that was something special. And you get used to hearing it to the point that you think, hey, that's me. Wait, no, that's not me. Or who is that? You don't really know who is who anymore. And that's part of the fun.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, is that who is? But then you just want to enjoy it and not worry about who is where.
And then when it soars at the end, oh, it just like pulls on the heartstrings. Yeah.
I know. Do you guys produce everything too?
Yeah,
We
so
do.
we have a studio together in Berlin,
Oh.
where we recorded everything for this whole album, and we were sort of building the studio at the same time because we met when we started writing all of these songs, and we didn't really know what this was going to be, and we just kept writing more and more and more, and they got better and better and better, and we were like, hey, you want to just sort of merge lives? And Drew said yes, so.
It's honestly it was so unexpected, but it's worked out perfectly. So we have a shared studio in Berlin where we recorded it all, but also in Ed's new home in the Black Forest, he's got a studio there where we tracked all the live drums. So between two different studios within Germany, we've been able to kind of get together and create, which has been amazing.
That's really cool. So how did you two sync up though? Was it through managers or you both lived in Berlin? Like you had mutual friends? How did that happen?
Well, we are on the same label. We live strangely parallel lives, or have lived strangely parallel lives forever. We're close to the same age. We're both singer-songwriters. We're both on the same label. He's an Australian. I'm going to speak for you, Drew. He's an
Go for it.
Australian that lived in California. I'm a Californian that lived in Europe. We just missed each other entirely. And so our label, Drew was in town in Berlin, and I was living there. And our label network put us in touch, and then really from that first meeting, the rest was absolute history. But it was an industry meeting.
Do you think they put you together being like, hey, you guys should write together? Or it was just like, oh, you both are there, you should have a drink?
I forget who actually connected us, but I feel like it was kind of just like, oh, you're in Berlin, he's in Berlin, go play. Like it wasn't very
Play
it was
date!
kind of,
Yeah.
yeah. It was very there wasn't we honestly actually in our first meeting we didn't even write together. We just kind of had a coffee and chatted, and then do you remember? And then
Oh, that's
we were
so
there for
true.
like an hour.
I
Yeah.
always forget that. Our first meeting, we were gonna write something, but I think we got so distracted by the like insane number of parallels in our lives. Just
Yeah.
it's a weird life to be a middle class singer songwriter, and we both had that, and so we just got into the nitty gritty of it, and we forgot to write a song. But it was so much fun. We promised ourselves that we were going to do it again.
And with that conversation, was it like, let's make it this certain style, or or you were hoping like with approaching your solo work versus the duo, was it like I want to go in this lane, or just sort of let's see what happens once we're in the sandbox together?
I kind of feel like, now that I think about it, we both having done this for a long time, I think we've both been doing this for a decade or more. You know, you always get a little. I don't want to use the word bored because it's not the right word, but like, you know, you're always looking for something new to keep yourself entertained, and you're always on to the next thing. And when we first started doing this, we both said this is going to be our opportunity to like laser focus on making exactly that singer-songwriter sound, making exactly that thing that we both want to do, but somehow when you're doing it yourself, it's difficult to really go for it. Because you're influenced by the things that you're listening to and by the, you know, whatever it is. But having that sort of mutual ground in the middle meant that we had to stay directly on target of what the sound is, and I think we nailed it. But
I think you did.
No, I agree. Yeah.
That's why you're here today. Of course you did.
Yeah, this song's super beautiful. And to Laura's point, like the end just takes it to the next level. I love a song that just like repeats, but then like adds all the things and goes all out. That's like, as music lovers, you're like, yes, I'm feeling it now. So Laura, what did you think, or do you want me to start with my theory?
You can go into your theory first, and then
okay.
I'll jump in.
It was sometimes we go in with really elaborate theories about like this meant, you know, of what the song is about, and some songs are more like feel like stories, and others, this to me felt more just like a general idea. And in terms of like trying to figure out the story, I was like, I'm not sure I have a great theory here. But the general message I get is that it's a song about self-reflection, and maybe when you're feeling stuck or unhappy with who you've become, it's kind of encouraging you to stop fighting yourself and let go. Like lyrics like the revolving door, all this weight I carry from all these versions of myself, now it's time to come clean. Like, and then the jumping in the river, the tide draws you deeper, but you give in and it shows you how to float. I think it's such like a cool turnaround. So I just kind of got the message of like, by facing your demons, you conquer them. Or maybe like learn to not try to control your feelings as much as you may have been, but then I feel like there's probably so much more to it. And then there's all this water imagery. So I also was like, is this a religious baptism thing? Those are my thoughts.
We just love swimming freestyle. So.
Yeah.
We're not very good at it, but
Yeah.
You're like, this is my Olympic anthem. What are you talking about?
You're pretty spot on though. I think like for me, like even just listening back to the song then, and I know for Ed and I, when we wrote it, it was the last year or so for both of us have been, we've had a lot of challenges in our own personal lives. And I feel like that song was, a big reflection of what it's like to actually let go. And because ultimately that's the way I feel like, you know, that's where you can move on in life and actually be, come to a place of acceptance for things that happen and more of an understanding of what life's like. And as I was listening back to it just then, I kind of realized unintentionally that we did this repeating choir thing at the end, which is it chews you up and it spits you out, and it chews you up and it spits you out, and it just repeated. And as I was hearing that, I was like, that's the perfect definition of life. Is it just it chews you up and it spits you out, and it's just this ongoing thing. How do we learn to accept that and learn to actually float through it, you know? And so it's kind of like a mindfulness aspect to this song, I think, at least for me. I don't know.
Yeah, and one of the wonderful things about writing a song with another person is that you come to the point, right? We wrote these words together in a room and we were there, but it means something fundamentally different to both of us because it's a reflection of our own personal lives. And so the things where Drew is thinking about being chewed up and spit out are different than the things that I'm being chewed up and spit out about. And that's one of the wonderful things when you look for like the specificity of what the imagery is evoking, it's actually different. And I think that's one of the great things in songs, that it's like, it's almost personalized to you, the listener, you, the writer, in our case, both of us, because you get what you interpret from it. And that's the intention of it. I mean, like the overall message is clear, but it's about different things for different people. And I love that about the song because our lives were so parallel at that moment. So.
And then as listeners, we take on our own, like, what chewed me up and spit me out, you know, like I'm sure for Lindsay. Right. Well, let me jump into my theory. I had two different theories. One actually it could have been about diving into a romantic relationship or falling in love. Like, will you dive in? Another door revolving, those lines. It could be another chance at love with another person. Perhaps you're with this other person in other relationships, but with this one you could come clean and clear up those other versions of other relationships, right? And revolving door, makes me think of, we come in and come out of relationships. And that you jump in and you can't live without it being love, maybe. And that obviously love can chew you up and spit you out, for either or both of you. And my other theory was sort of more internally contemplative, especially verse 2, where you say, like, where is this place I'm going? Who's the face that's looking back? It feels as if you're taking stock of your life, your values, trying to clean out the cobwebs and come clean with yourself. And same, I mean, about the floating is like, I know in my own life, like once I started to accept that, like, I like to control things. So once you're like, I have no control, like just floating, so that's also.
Drew, you want to take the love thing? Because I feel like that goes to you more than it does to me.
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think the for me, the broad message of the song can kind of cover all bases in a way. And it's absolutely right. Love and relationships do chew you up and spit you out. And I feel like this song is a general, there's a general theme of fear and confronting that fear and learning how to accept that when you let fear control your life, the outcome is never good. And so for me, it's like, how do you let go and float into it and fall into things? Because I would say, to your point about relationships, the song can definitely represent that, in the sense that coming out of certain relationships and going back into them feels very scary, because you are who you are based off of your past experiences. And if your past experiences are not, that great, and they chewed you up and spat you out, then of course you're going to have reservations going into new things. And so, but ultimately that leads you nowhere. And so how do you get to the place of like, okay, you know what, this is scary, but like, I'm just going to dive in and just like let the current take me and see where it goes. And so I feel like that can encapsulate that in a really good way. So for me, the song is yeah. And I feel like for Ed too, when we wrote it, it was very broad thing of covering all, it's ultimately whatever unique situation that you are in, it could be applied to that. It's just about letting go and letting it fall.
Well, I have to disagree with you. For me, it was a little less broad. Here we go. We have our first conflict. For me, it was less broad.
Yes.
For me, it was
fight.
definitely
First, okay. We have it here.
No, and this is the beauty. That it's about something completely different for me than it is for Drew. Like for me, I was at the precipice of, like, I had lived in a city for 10 years, and I was about to, and actually, it's not just the song. Like, this entire album for me is significant in the fact that it was the thing I did immediately before I left Berlin, where I'd lived for 10 years, and moved to the country, which was a huge risk. And I was terrified, and I didn't know what was going to happen. And we were moving into the middle of absolutely nowhere. For me, like, this song, what is that jumping into the water? What is that big risk that you're going to take? You take what is the sort of unknown waters that you're diving into. It was definitely feeling that inability to change my situation turn into sort of an imminent change of everything in your life. And for me, that was a big deal. Thankfully, it all worked out. But the song was right there at that precipice, which I think is relevant.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by it being a broader thing, but specific to the listener's interpretation. So,
or writer,
or writer, exactly. Yeah.
Well, it's funny, Laura, because you touched on the one line like I couldn't figure out was because you can't live without it. Because like you jump in the water because you can't live without it. I'm like, okay, well, we all need water to live, but that doesn't feel like probably what you're saying.
No,
that lyric made me think it was about something specific. But
yeah,
talk about that.
It's less the water as like a life force, and more maybe the tide. You can think of it as the thing that draws you into the next phase of your life, whatever it's going to be, whether it's a relationship or for me, moving or whatever it is. It's the the flow of the tide, the thing that draws you into the next phase of your life. I mean, it can just be like age to a point. Whatever is the mechanism that brings you into the next phase of your life is that water that you can't live without, that tide that draws you into the next part of your life.
Yeah, and I think to touch on that, I love this saying that nothing is permanent, and that's one of the big truths of life, and that's kind of to touch on that. And that's what we can't live without because it doesn't exist. You know, there's always going to be some form of change and flow in life.
Right. The only constant in life is change. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, because I think I was thinking with the Lovelands, like I'm blanking on who. Well, I think someone different wrote it and sang it, but like the greatest thing is to be loved and to be loved in return. That's not Nina Simone.
Oh, the Nat King Cole song.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
My brain was like, yeah.
The boy
exactly.
I'm going to look it up. The boy who
thank
cried
you.
something.
Yeah.
The internet is a wonderful thing. Nature Boy.
Nature Boy, yes. Anyway, that just made me think of that. Well, so do you both feel that way about you can't live without it? Like, or does that take on different meanings, that line?
Yeah, I think, and actually, like, now that we're talking about it, when we wrote the song, which was a year and a half, couple years ago, like it was a while ago, right, Ed? Yeah, so when we wrote the song, actually, that was very recently after I had moved to Berlin. And so I feel like for both Ed and I, the meaning was actually more specific to that, which was like we were both in the current process of moving our entire lives to a different place and the fear involved in that. But then listening to the song back today, now years later, it can take on a different meaning. And so I feel like for me, it is absolutely true. As you said before, the only constant in life is change. And for me, every time I have faced a big change and I try and resist it, it doesn't, I don't get put in the right place mentally and emotionally. And so it's when I learn to accept that change and flow into it like a tide, that's when I start to feel good about it, you know?
Yes.
Whatever situation that may be. And so that for me is like what I find myself, not being able to live without is that acceptance.
Well put.
Yeah.
Actually, really well. Like, I feel that too. That, life gives you these opportunities and you just have to jump in and let it take you where it's going to take you. Accepting that it's your time to go to the next phase is kind of the most difficult thing because it seems so easy, but knowing when to do that is really kind of all it is moving on,
But I think as you get in, the older you get too, I think you realize we're just like a little tiny speck, and but I think when we're young, we have all these grand ambitions and like, I can forge my own path, and which you can, but there's also other factors that you'll have no control over.
Oh, I've become such an existentialist. Like sometimes I zoom out and I'm like, I am a piece of dust and I do not matter. And that's helpful for me, actually.
Yes.
That's very, very helpful for me. Like when I go through really big life changes and I think, oh my God, this is going to you're faced with a decision or a change or something which you feel like your emotions feel bigger than they actually are. And then I really try and do the exercise of like zooming out and being like, you know what? I'm going to probably die in like 40 years, hopefully maybe longer than that, I hope. Anyway, and then, this is it's not even going to matter. So,
I was literally having this,
very helpful.
I was literally having this thought this morning of like, I wonder how much longer I need to work in life. And I was like, oh yeah, like maybe another 40 years, but I hope not.
That's a lot of work.
For work, until you're 80?
I mean, well, I don't know, like not to get like, but I don't know, in this climate.
I feel like
living in the U.S.
Music supervising when you're 80, being a musician and always writing music.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you guys?
That sounds like fun. That sounds like the dream. That sounds like, you listen to Paul Simon's newest albums. That sounds like that, where you're 80 years old or more and you're still writing songs and you're still putting them out and people are still listening. That is the dream.
Totally.
Because this is fun. For the most part. I mean, it's stressful and it's tiring and it's this and it's that, but we get to like write songs and have people listen to them. That's the fundamental. We would probably be doing it anyway, whether anybody listened or not. And the bonus is that people get to listen.
Right.
And
but maybe
so
not
wonderful.
touring as extensively when you're 80.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think you can give that.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You're like,
Come
"I'll
on,
stop."
Drew, give
Yeah.
into it.
I've been touring pretty consistently for the past 3 years, and I have realized in the last couple weeks I've been on tour for 6 weeks now, maybe a little less, and I was in the US for a tour, and now I'm in Europe, and then I have an Australia one next month, and I have realized during the last couple of weeks there is definitely a limit to what you can put your body through, and I have just been going too hard, and now I've reached a limit where I'm like, you know what, it would be very cool to do some more touring, but like there will be a point where I'm like, all right, it's time to move to the Black Forest and just be a songwriter, you know?
Which is what I keep saying. And I will also mention that Drew has this epiphany about every 3 to 4 months that he can't do it anymore, and then he continues.
That's true.
You gotta pay the bills somehow, right? You know, that's
Yeah.
the
I relate
existential
to
crisis.
that,
Yeah,
for sure.
I often think about like moving. Like your life sounds amazing, Ed. Like that's nature sounds so amazing. But then there's always this part of me, like, could I live in a small town? And you know, but like, or would I miss the hustle and bustle? I've always lived in a city, but I love nature. So what have you observed of like leaving like a city into being in the country? Do you get like, I want to go see theater or something, you know?
No, but I'm a unique person. But you know, the second here, what I want, as you were saying, what have you observed? The thought that crossed my mind was like, you know, the second you taste your own zucchini out of your own garden, you're like, okay, yeah, come on, I don't need the city anymore. This is a party. But no, I really still have a deep relationship with Berlin. I have to go back all the time. I'm often in the UK or somewhere else for writing. So I still feel the city, unfortunately for me. And then I have this place as a refuge. For me, it was really important. So much of music creation these days is staring at a screen. And I wanted to make sure that the time that I wasn't staring at a screen for work, I wasn't staring at a screen and being bombarded by like electronic devices at home. You know what I mean? I wanted my off time to be like, you know, moving mounds of dirt from here to there, because that's what I kind of grew up doing. Because I grew up in Northern California and on the Sonoma coast, and
nice.
it was important for me eventually after doing my time in the city, and I love the city, but it was important for me to get away from that and do something with my hands.
That's great.
I was going to say that's kind of the cool part of this conversation is you both wrote the song on the precipice of change, and now it's a year and a half later. How are you feeling about it? Like, how did it turn out?
Yeah, I mean, actually for me, I feel like that song it's just come back around because I'm currently in the process of moving to another country. But
Drew, we can't keep up with you.
I know.
I just I got to get my fix. I mean, it's not like a permanent move. I'm going to be just relocating, but still basically being in Berlin for most half the time. But you know, there is that big decision of like, oh, I'm at the point where I'm going to face another big change in life, and that's it's exciting, actually. It's super exciting, but it's also like, yeah, there's those fears of like, well, what's going to happen? What if you don't like it? And I just I'm pretty good at being like, well, who cares? Like, you can always change it. So I feel like
That's true.
Yeah, how I feel about those changes now from when we wrote it, great. And actually, like, you know, it's funny, like reflecting when I first moved to Berlin and when Ed and I first met. I was living in Los Angeles before that for 7 years, and I was like, I always had all these fears. Oh my God, I'm leaving LA. Like, this is going to kill my career. I'm going to miss out on opportunities. And to be honest, the opportunities have just kept growing and things have just kept growing. And it's been a really good lesson for me to be like, you know what, as long as the desire to make music is there and I enjoy it, there's always going to be someone to listen. So look, in hindsight, I'm like, that was not as scary at all. And only great things came from it. So yeah.
What, do you mind us asking, what is the next country?
Yeah, no, not at all. It's Malta, a tiny island in the Mediterranean.
We just worked on a reality show that filmed there. It looked
In Malta.
gorgeous.
Oh, no way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, they were on like a cruise ship and like coming into the island just for dates or whatever. It was.
Yeah, but of course
I've literally never been there.
Oh, really? So you what did you do?
Just
Like
a-
just put a
Yeah, so then
Just
why
applied
Malta?
for a
Yeah.
visa. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because in Germany they tax you 50% and in Malta they tax you zero. So I was like,
Oh,
I'm gonna go there and like save some money over the next year, just try it for a year and still
yeah,
be based in
yeah.
Europe. And I was considering moving back to America. I was like, do I go back to LA, maybe Nashville? And then I spent some time there end of last year, and I was like, nope, not for me. I'm gonna stay in Europe. So
Well, especially right now.
yeah,
Yeah,
maybe in 3 years' time I'll come back. Who knows?
yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna say when you were like, leaving LA only led to better things. I was like, shh, don't tell Laura. She's already considering the farm,
I know. Oh,
Oh,
literally anywhere. I know, literally anywhere. Yeah, I'm like,
I can
yeah,
advertise the farm.
yeah.
The farm is great.
Okay,
Ed's
okay.
ears perked
I
up.
can
Yeah.
I Drew likes the farm too. It's just not
I love the
necessarily
farm. Yeah.
I like to garden. I have just like a little planter bed, like a raised planter bed, but it's like when I've grown something, I'm so excited and yeah, on my little small scale. Yeah.
it's like a weird kind of fun, but it's like a good kind of
No,
fun.
it's like I did that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's funny that you asked as well about like looking back on the song now, so much later. I don't know, maybe Drew, you feel differently, but I find a lot that the songs you write, and I think a lot of people say stuff like this that write songs, but songs tend to be weirdly prophetic. That you
Mm-hmm.
write something, maybe you write it for your current situation, but oftentimes it elucidates something that you encounter much later on, and you realize that you were talking in a more general sense about a lot more than just whatever specific thing you've had on your mind at that moment. And yeah, this song in particular is kind of a gift that keeps on giving in terms of the messages there. And there's a million different ways, and it's one of those things you're constantly jumping into a new little tide, one in
Mm-hmm.
one place or another. So yeah.
I was going to ask, do you think it's sad? Do you guys both feel like it's a sad song or is it just us?
No, I definitely think there is an emotional weight to it.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like it's like it's not sad in the sense that like, oh, this is you're listening and it's like, oh my God, this is breaking my heart. But it to me it's sad in the sense that it does talk about emotional weight, and it talks about, for me the song feels like like a person has been struggling a lot, and it's finally reached the precipice where they're actually facing, as you said before, Lindsay, some of the demons, or like, for lack of a better word. And that to me is like the sad element of it. But I think also then the chorus and the ending brings this like hopefulness to it, where it's like, okay, there is this like sad person that's been struggling over and over again, and finally they're reaching a point where they're like, you know what, I'm going to let go and just let it take me.
Can you talk a little? What I think is so interesting about the chorus is that you guys instrumentally do the opposite of what usually happens in the chorus. Like instead of amping up, you strip away, and it just goes to one chord and one chord, right? And with vocals over it. Can you talk a little bit about your decision to do that?
Yeah. Okay. Well, so the verse has this driving atmosphere. This the four to the floor and the guitars. It has all this building stuff, and so it's natural to want a change, right? Like the way that I always think of songs is that they have to take you from somewhere to somewhere, right? It's a journey. You're going from point A to hopefully to somewhere completely new, and you're taking the listener on that journey. And so if you have a verse that is full of energy, then you need a chorus that really stops and allows you to listen to what's being said. But at the same time, we were there cognizant of the fact that it's a simple line, right, in the chorus, but it's one that you want to hear a lot. And as you hear it, you want to add all of those elements, and you want to keep adding and be able to keep adding. And so you have to start really small. And that's exactly what we did, right? Like that final chorus, it's this big swirling mass of vocals and all of the different elements and everything being added one at a time, which sort of became a little bit of our signature sound, in my mind at least, and a little bit of the inspiration of the name of the band, which is like where does the choir come from? It's just the two of us. Where does the choir come from? It comes from those big arrangements of vocals that come as frequently as we can make them happen, but at that integral moment of the song. So yeah, it's important to have that little intimate dynamic shift in the chorus so that you can bring people in to really hit them over the head with it.
Where did the Driftwood part come from?
The Driftwood part came from the fact that the two of us have never stayed put anywhere for longer than a couple years at a time, as Drew has just demonstrated yet again. And so it's funny to call a band with two people a choir, but yes, we are the moving chorus.
Oh wow! Do you? One of my favorite Travis songs is Driftwood. Have you ever listened to that song?
I have, but I don't have it off the top of my head.
I haven't either.
It's really
I'm
good.
I'm gonna go do my homework.
Yeah,
now,
go
though.
listen because it's kind of, there are some elements of the river too, of like singing specifically about Driftwood and how it's formed, but also how it pertains to your life. But it's one of my favorite Travis songs. So
We'll check it out.
Talk to us about the traveling. It feels
Yeah.
like you guys kind of bonded over this inspiration from travel, and how does that influence your songwriting?
I mean, for me, it's well, for both of us actually. Yeah, I mean, as Ed said, we've kind of bounced around our whole lives. For me, I've always had this like desire to. I don't know. I have a hard time sitting still. I have a hard time like being settled. Although I feel like I'm reaching a point in my life where I'm like desperately jealous of Ed settling down in the forest. Like, but yeah, I don't know. I think for me, I always dreamed of touring when I was a kid. I was like, oh, if I can just play a show anywhere and there's going to be people there, that's like my biggest dream. And so for the past 3 years, I've been able to do that, and so that's been a huge blessing to me. But I don't know. I've always had this desire to like see the world, but I always wanted to do it whilst playing a show or like doing music, because then that to me means that okay, then I'm doing something I love and I'm getting to see a place out of it, and that's been like the most beautiful blessing, because I've had the privilege of meeting people from all walks of life, and I think that is the best way to I don't know, open your mind to new ideas and new cultures, and that's been amazing. So I've always had that desire, and I still do. Even amidst all of this touring, and I'm craving some stability, I know that I will, maybe chill out for a little bit, and then a few months down the line, I'm going to be like, okay, where's next? Where do I go next? And also in terms of songwriting, that's been the biggest inspiration for me. Is like, yeah, I don't know, just seeing all these different places and meeting different people. It's inspiring.
do you feel like you can actually see the places, or like sometimes when it's like you're only a day here, I mean, do you feel like you get, or maybe it just gives you a good taste and then you'll know where you want to go back?
Yeah, I'm pretty content with a good taste. Like that's like
Okay.
I just like, because it is so
Yeah.
short. But I always try every single city I'm in. I always try to like see the actual like, especially in Europe. I'm like, okay, where can I go see the historic old town and walk around a little bit, get a coffee, get some food, and then I go to play the show. You do not get to see a lot at all, and some days you do not even get to see the city. So that is tough. However, like days like today where I have an off day and I've got to walk around Venice the whole day. I'm like, this is what a amazing privilege it is to be able to do that. And so then that kind of inspires me. Now I'm like, okay, I got to come back here and spend 2 or 3 days where I'm not playing a show.
Did you get lost? I feel like I went to Venice once and then like the sun went down and I was like, shit, where am I?
Every corner is identical, and I was like, my phone was on 5%. I was like, I need to make it back for this podcast.
Oh,
and I was like
no.
running through the city.
You're like, I
made
hope
it.
I get it
I
right.
made it.
I just remember
Yeah.
like when I just, my one memory of Venice. Well, I have many, but I went with my family when I was a teenager, and literally everywhere my sister and dad went, they kept getting pooped on by pigeons. Everywhere.
That's good luck.
Right. I mean, I don't know. Like,
Nature
in
boy
the
says
end-
it's good luck.
Yeah, I know.
Nature boy.
See, I think that people just say that to make you feel better. Like you got shit on.
I don't
Almost
know.
certainly.
Yeah,
Almost
probably.
certainly.
Definitely.
But yeah, it was
There's
so
a lot of
funny.
pigeons. I was
There are a
surprised.
lot
There's
of
a whole
pigeons.
pigeon colony in here. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I just remember though, it was just funny because my mom and I, it didn't happen, but like 3 different times it happened to my sister and dad.
They're just
Anyway,
lucky.
that's my
That's
like
extremely
Venice
unlucky.
memory.
You're lucky.
I know. Well, so May, who is one of our producers on the show, she had an interesting question about going back to the river. She was saying sonically, the production of this track feels like it's mimicking the movement of water. It slows, gains momentum like a wave building, Did the lyrics or instrumentation come first? And is there a saxophone on the track? Because it sounds like the saxophone even has like a wave going in and out.
I'm going to let Drew talk to the saxophone element of it because I can't remember now. But we always wrote the song first. So we started, a lot of these songs came from little snippets of ideas that I had collected over many years that I thought were genius, but I couldn't figure out how to do them. And I brought a lot of these ideas to Drew as just like little melody ideas or something. And then the two of us turned them into songs there, just in the room in a day. And then they became whatever songs they were, and we did a rough demo of it. And then a couple months later, we'd come back and produce them. So it's always from lyrics and melody first to production afterwards, and to the sax.
Yeah, with the saxophone, there is no saxophone on that song, but I'm pretty sure I know exactly what she's talking about. There is, in the ending, there is when it gets big, there's a vocal sample which I found deep on my hard drive, and it's this like, it's very high. I pitched it up so it sounds a little bit like a moving saxophone, and it's got this beautiful melody that just kind of fit underneath our melodies. And now that I hear the word saxophone, I can picture that. For someone that doesn't know what it is, it could sound a little saxophony. So no saxophone, but we did a good job of faking a vocal to make it sound like a saxophone.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because like we all pick up different things, right? Because I was like, oh, but I was like, I like that question. Were you trying to make it feel like the movement of water? Was that like, or
I think
just
so. Like I remember when we were doing the production, it was very much like, how do we do it in a way that's not like overkill, you know? And I think this theme of pulling in and pulling back like a tide or like a river flowing, like, was very probably subconsciously on our minds. And then as we were putting the song together, as Ed said before about the chorus breaks where it drops down and in dynamic and it gets really just kind of soft, and then the ending builds again. It was just like, I remember when we were making it, and I remember we were having conversations about how do we make this like feel like it's kind of flowing.
Talk to us a little bit about making music alone and together, and what's different for each of you.
It is a very interesting difference between writing songs for yourself and writing songs with someone else. And there are things to be gained and things that are lost always, right? Like when we're both, Drew and I are working on our solo albums right now, and the thing that you can retain then is the entire ownership of what it is you're trying to say. And that's great when you're writing alone. You know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about your life. You're talking about the things you've experienced. When you're writing with someone else, you lose a little bit of that ownership, but what you gain is the unknown. Right? What you gain is that magic back, that magic that you have when you're a young songwriter and you don't really know what you're saying. You don't have context of your life. You don't know what it is you're trying to say. You gain that back by the sort of relationship that you're able to produce with someone in the room, right? And that little magical mystery is what makes it so special. It's what makes Driftwood Choir, though it's just Drew and I, feel like someone else came up with all these ideas. Because there's that little space between. And I think that's so beautiful. I think that's the thing that's so attractive to Drew and I in terms of making this project and why it's so much fun. Because that ownership is a little bit more blurry, that understanding is a little more blurry. You sort of just, you synthesize ideas together and you glom onto whatever ideas are the most exciting. Whereas when you're alone in your room, when you're writing your song yourself, it's very much a conversation with you, and that's terrifying, right? Like it's terrifying that you sit there and you talk to yourself about, what do I want to say today? Whereas when you do it with someone else, a lot of that is glossed over. A lot of the little, what are my deepest, darkest fears are glossed over in favor of the magical mystery. I know that's a terrible way to describe it, but like when you are a young songwriter, you don't know what you're saying. Some people get really lucky and they say things that are genius, but I'm not entirely sure they're responsible. I mean, maybe some people are smarter than me when they're 18, but for the most part, you're just sort of winging it. And then eventually, as you get older, your life comes into context You know who you are, and you know what your life is about, and you know what it is that you're trying to say, and you lose a little bit of that wonderful magic. And it doesn't make the songs worse. It should make the songs better when you know what you're trying to say. But getting it back when you have a partner like what Drew and I have, where we're consistent, and we know what we're doing, and we know what we want it to sound like, but still there is that give and take. That is really such a fantastic trade-off. Sorry, I've waffled on now for ages, but very important to me.
Yeah, no, I honestly fully agree. I love working with Ed in this project because it does take away some. I don't know. For me, when I'm writing solo, I do. Yeah, as Ed said, you have those moments where you're like, "Is this all absolute garbage?" And you don't have anyone to kind of like bounce back off of. And so, yeah, I'm in the process of finishing my first album at the moment, and there's like 15 songs on there, and like I've listened back and I'm like, yeah, I think this is good, but then then the next day I'll listen back, I'm like, oh, this is garbage, and I should throw it all out. And
it's very good. It's very good.
I'm sure.
So
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. But I love working. I think I work best with other people actually, and with Ed in particular, I don't know, we just have such a good flow. It's like it just works. So.
Does nature play a big role in your solo work, or do you feel like this was really the combination of the two of you really wanted to touch on elements of nature?
I mean, I was just called Nature Boy, so that's clearly something.
Fair enough. I know. Why am I even? Yeah, you're right.
I'm sorry, Drew. You take it.
No, yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, for me, definitely, I love nature. I mean, touching grass is one of the best things you can ever do for yourself. I feel like, for me, I haven't spent a lot of time in nature recently because I've been touring so much, and I desperately feel a craving to like go for a walk in the forest or like something like that, and I can't do that right now. It's a little bit frustrating. But I would say, yeah, I would say though the project though, Driftwood Choir, is probably more specifically narrowed in on the feeling of being in nature. Yeah.
Are you guys making any more music together anytime soon?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, we are already working on the second album. So we're both right. I've finished because I'm very efficient. My solo album. Drew's still working on his. But
wait, what did you say? You're a what?
I'm very efficient and quick.
Oh, efficient. Okay, sorry. Well,
something's
got to rub off that you're living in Germany. They are very efficient,
Yeah. My solo album's done. Drew's is almost done and in progress. But all these things get done with the lead up time, and that gives us the opportunity to begin working on album 2, which we have. I think we already have.
We have 3 or 4 songs. Yeah.
3 or 4 songs already for this album, and it sounds really cool. And it's one of those things. Every time we get together, we do come out with a song. And eventually this year, we're going to have to take it seriously, and we're going to have to end up in the same place at the same time. And we're going to have to write a whole bunch
when you're
of them.
Driftwood, it's just hard,
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
But when you require, it's required.
Ah, there it is.
Wow.
I didn't even mean to do that.
That's fantastic. Honestly, that was fantastic. 10 out of 10. No notes.
10 out of 10. But yeah.
I'll be here all week, people. Nature Boy. Sorry.
Is that maybe that's the second? Is that the name of the second album? Maybe we gave you an idea.
Nature Boy.
Or Boys.
Or maybe you need Nature
Maybe
Boys.
we just rename the band.
Or you cover the song because it's the Nat King Cole song too.
Yeah.
So, it seems like we talk sometimes about songwriting being therapeutic, and it feels very much like for you guys there was something really nice about coming together. Would you call it therapeutic?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, big time. Absolutely. I mean, obviously different from Ed's perspective, but from my perspective, I feel like this band has for us formed such a great friendship, and like honestly, like having Ed in Berlin when I moved to Berlin was like unbelievably helpful. Like Ed helped me with my visa, helped me with a place to stay, and so I feel like at the core of it, more so than like a good music project, we've just become good mates, and so like therapeutic in the sense that like we'll get together and write a song, and then we'll go to some shitty, corner pub next door and just have a couple beers and just talk about life. And that's like, that's been one of the best things I feel like is it's more so, it's more than just work, and it's become like a good friendship,
Yeah.
My son loves Drew. I mean, we're very close.
Oh, that's really fun. That's great.
Yeah.
What are your favorite German beers or beers, Hey, it's a thing in Germany, Lindsay.
It is.
It's definitely a thing. Well, I have to rep my local Alpirsbach. There's a little town like 20 minutes away that make beer that you can find in like quite a few places, but here that's all you're allowed to drink. Anything else is verboten.
Yeah, and I mean, living in Berlin, beer is cheaper than water. So honestly, like
believe
any you can't go wrong with any bottled beer from a Späti, which is a German for like a late night shop. It's like a 24-hour kiosk type thing. It's like €1, and you get a really good beer, whereas other countries don't have that privilege. So Germany is very good with beers.
And Italy's very like the wine's cheaper than water in Italy.
Oh yeah, I've been wine drunk all day. It's fantastic.
That's why you were lost. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are some of your favorite sad songs? And I wonder if you guys have compared notes and if you agree.
Or maybe
We haven't compared notes.
We haven't compared
So I'm
notes.
curious.
No, we're
I'm
going
curious
blind.
what Ed's gonna say. Knowing that we had this question coming up today, I actually in the last couple of weeks heard I've listened to a couple songs which I've known for a while, but they like popped up again when I was traveling. A desperately sad songs, and one of them is there's an artist called Zeros, and they have a song called House Song, and it's just
Sigaros or Zeros?
No, Zeros, Searows.
oh,
Cool.
It's beautiful, and most of their songs are sad, but this one particularly is called House Song, is very sad. And another one of my favorites is it's one called The Wisp Sings by Winter Aid. I'm not sure if you've heard that one, but also
I've used
just,
Winter Aid. Aren't they Scandinavian?
yeah, it's
Right? Yeah.
I'm not sure where they're from, but they're pretty well synced from what I know. I've heard their song in a bunch of TV
Yeah.
stuff.
It's very
But
syncable.
anytime I hear either one of those songs, I'm like ready to have a good old cry.
Aw.
Is there a common element in them that hits you? Like what gets you?
I think it's more. I don't know. The lyrics are sad, but for me, it's more so the feeling of the music, and I think that's probably the thing they have in common. The Wisp sings is just gorgeous. Like it's just got this beautiful piano melody throughout, and the music does something to me.
That's great.
Ed?
Yeah. So one thing about me is that I am very quick to tear up at just any music that I like. As my wife will tell you, at the breakfast table when we listen to just whatever record I put on, I often need a moment. And it's the only thing that really makes me cry. But music that I love makes me cry, and it doesn't have to necessarily be sad. But just as a preface, there's a lot of things that make me cry about music.
Us too.
Often jealousy.
Us too.
But
I don't know about
I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
But the song that really strikes that jumped out at me when I saw that you guys wanted to hear what our sad songs were is this song. I love Americana, and because it's such an amorphous blob of a genre, and it touches so many different things from country to folk to bluegrass, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was listening to this band, Mighty Poplar, which is sort of a super group of a lot of bluegrass players, with most famously Andrew Marlin, the mandolin player from, I'm blanking on the name.
Is it Alison Krauss, the Union Station? Is that what he was in?
No. God.
Rhiannon Giddens or
No, you guys are close. Anyway,
I have
I'm
internet.
sorry.
What's his name again?
Andrew Marlin, and the band is, and he's in a band called The Watch something.
Watch House.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you know their songs. You may not know who they are, but you've heard their songs. They're fantastic, and it's like, great. But anyway, him and his little super group, they did a cover, and it's not just a cover. It's a cover. It's like a complete rework of a Leonard Cohen song called "The Story of Isaac," and it's obviously about Abraham and his son Isaac, and that whole story of him taking him up to the altar. But it's also an anti-war song, but they've completely reimagined the melody. Completely reimagined. I mean, Leonard Cohen, when you go back and you listen to it, it's this very stunted performance as he does. He's a brilliant poet, but musically, anybody who plays a Leonard Cohen song realizes how genius it was. But when you listen to the recording, sometimes it doesn't always come through on first glance. And so the fact that they just hauled off and redid the whole thing and is incredibly beautiful. And I cannot listen to that song, even after all these years, without crying. Regardless of the context, no matter where I am or what I'm doing, if I hear that song, I will cry. And that is awful. But I
do you avoid it for that reason?
No, I lean into it. I can't pull away. It's like a car crash. It's like a beautiful car crash. I can't look away.
Yeah.
And then as a little juxtaposition to that, there's another song by the fantastic band called the Wood Brothers, who I would also put into that category, that is called Sing About It. And the lyrics are simply, when you're broken, when you're lost, sing a song about it, and you might just get through it. Which is that, when you're feeling lost, when you're feeling broken, sing a song about it, and it might just get you through. And I think every songwriter knows that instinctively, that you write a song about something horrible that happens to you, and you remove yourself entirely from the situation. You are able to then distance yourself from that entirely, and that is one of the great benefits to writing music.
Just to add on to that, I was thinking about what was the last song that made me cry.
Yeah.
What was that? And I just remembered the last song that made me cry is actually one of Ed's upcoming songs from his album. He was showing it to me, and I can't remember the name. Obviously, Ed knows the name, but it has a song on his album which just I can't listen to it without crying.
Oh, well, Ed, we might just need to have you back for it. So.
Ed, what's
obviously you too, Drew. Obviously you, and more Driftwood.
Ed, what's the name of it?
Rosalie.
Perfect, because we'll add it to the Spotify playlist from all the songs we talk about. Okay.
Okay, great.
Why did it make you? What was it, Drew, that got you? Not that one.
I guess that's maybe up to you, Ed, if you want to share about the song. Otherwise, it's just a sad song. Yeah.
The beauty of, without going into any detail whatsoever, because some things are left better to the imagination.
Of course.
Because they are so sad that they really don't help anybody by knowing. But one of the beautiful things is that Drew and I have become such close friends that we've had these real life events for both of us, like for better and for worse. And we've shared them. And so when he hears a song, he knows exactly what I'm talking about, right? Like he knows the pain and the unfortunate intimate details of whatever it is. However, the song itself, I dressed it up as if it was something happy. And I think that was, again, to the same point, that you have the opportunity when you write a song to distance yourself from, are we allowed to curse? From whatever horrible shit you've experienced, and in doing so, you help yourself heal. You help yourself get forward.
Yeah, a very good explanation.
Do you feel like it did help you get through it?
Yes, completely.
Good.
I mean, like the other people involved in that song can't hear it, but for me, I just think about the song. I'm just thinking about like it makes Drew cry, For me, I'm just thinking about like, oh, did I do that right? Did I do that right? It becomes like a technical question rather than an emotional one. And that is the beauty of it, that it really distances you from the reality of whatever it is you're talking about.
But as a counterpoint to that, like it's helpful, but then I don't know if this applies, and it won't apply in every situation, but sometimes you like work through something in a song and then realize, oh wait, I didn't actually work through it with the person it's about, or whatever actual real life issues. So like we've talked with other songwriters who have been like, sometimes I need to remind myself that while songwriting is therapy, it's also not, I also need therapy, or I also need to go work the thing out with the person the problem is actually with.
Instead of them just hearing it in a song and they're like, oh, that's how you feel. Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm the biggest advocate of real life therapy going hand in hand with songwriting therapy. If you're a songwriter, for me, for sure.
That's great.
Whereas I subscribe to the to the theory of self-delusion. You just run on to the next thing. No, I'm just kidding.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so Driftwood of you.
I know.
Come on, Nature Boy.
Why do you think I had to come out to the country to escape?
And actually,
Yeah.
I just realized the next song I have coming out is also one of my sadder songs, and I remember writing it, and maybe that was the last time I cried actually. But I remember writing that recently. We've both got very dethroned. Sorry, man. But I did also feel like as I wrote this song, I was like that was extremely helpful for me working through my own internal struggles with the topic of the song. So.
And Drew, what's that song called?
It's called "In Place of You."
Okay. I was telling Lindsay because I've been aware of both of your solo projects.
Me too.
I've been aware of your music for a really long time, and I feel like I was looking up on TuneFind because I was like, I think I've used both of your music before, but maybe I've just pitched it. I cannot recall. Like I couldn't from what I could tell on TuneFind. But also, there's so many little projects too that, like some indie film or something. But yeah, I definitely. And then I looked, and we had pitched it more recently in something. So yeah, it didn't make.
Oh, cool.
But
it's funny, like you feel like you're like, oh, I've sent it 5 times, but it just didn't land. And so you guys never heard about it, right?
Yeah,
but
right. But we're like, no, we're very
hearts.
aware of both of your music, so it's really interesting. We're excited to hear about the supergroup forming too. So
the supergroup, hell yeah,
that's what this is. All of them got together.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you guys pitching our music always.
We really do.
Yeah, of course. Well, you make beautiful music, so it's hard. It's very easy, I should say, to try to find places for it. So.
Yeah.
And the intimacy that you both, have in this project as well as your solo projects, like that intimacy is always our personal favorite kind of music, but also it works really well for under dialogue and just creating an intimate moment. So keep making it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we love chatting with you today. Sorry to call you names and
Keep it up. No, we love it.
We love it. I think that's a sign of a good friendship being formed.
Yeah, absolutely.
there you go. You just made us so comfortable.
Yeah.
Ed's nickname for me is Gruesome Drewsome. So
We would
So it
never.
can get a lot worse is what he's trying to say.
we can get way worse.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you call Ed? What do you call Ed, Drew?
What?
No, I don't think I've earned one.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been brewing
You
on
can
it for the
take
past
Nature
year
Boy.
and a half.
You can
Nature
totally
Boy.
take Nature Boy.
All right. Well, the next time we see you, we'll come to the forest.
Please do.
Come to the Black Forest.
Please do.
Yeah.
It's always open.
Done.
This was fun. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you so much
Thanks
for
for having
having
us.
us. It was a wonderful
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today on Sad Song Queens, because you always need a good cry. We will link these songs in our show page as well as our Spotify playlist. Please also be sure to like, comment, and subscribe wherever you find podcasts. Huge thanks to Ed Prosek, Drew Southwell, aka Portair, is his artist moniker, our friends at Network Music Group, Ellen Gildersleeve, Serafina Lotkamna, Talia Rubino, Downtown Music Publishing, Spencer Knobloch, Karsten Lohofer, and Jason Frizzell. Special production thanks to Vince Filippone, Avery Piantadosi, Jordan Lindsley, and our producer May Rogers.
Our theme song is All My Favorite Songs by Weezer, and our outro music is by Wyatt Rouse. Thank you to Network Records, and please check out their playlists with Driftwood Choir and other amazing artists from their roster.